Welcome into Four More Pages. We are talking about the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. I'm joined by Princess Bryant today. Princess, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So we have read a lot of Kennedy Ryan books.
We have.
We've read this series.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to get right into it because there's 3 books in the series we have. Before I Let Go, This Could Be Us, and Can't Get Enough. And Can't Get Enough is the most recent one from this year, but we're going to start from the very beginning.
From the first one.
From the beginning.
My first Kennedy Ryan book I read.
Really?
Yeah, the first one. So.
What did you say? It was a good book and it got you hooked on Kennedy Ryan?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
I think that's why. We'll get to it. I think I rated it a little higher because of that, because it was my first one, but we'll get to it.
Okay, so this is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. Very beautiful, very cool cover. But getting into it, it's about Josiah and it's about Yasmin. And they're a married, recently divorced couple who is trying to figure out their new sense of normal because they don't have just like a clean split of like, okay, we're divorced, we're never going to talk to each other again. Because they have 2 kids and they have a business together.
And they have a messy. The whole thing.
It just made for a recipe for disaster, which is ironic because they own a restaurant. So that's not a recipe I want in my life. But what was your first like reaction when you read this book? Because it starts off kind of in a place of it's like you're seeing from Yasmin's point of view of like trying to get her kids to school and like introduce them to their new normal with them being separated.
Right. So the first scene, Deja is something else. Like I don't know how Yasmin had the patience for her daughter. Yeah. Towards the end of the book, they kind of they explain a little bit why Deja is the way she is. Yeah. I think she still got a little bit too much grace, but that's okay. But when you're first reading it, you're like, something is missing. Like there's a reason these people broke up. They don't just break up because of time or something like that. Like there had to be something in between. Yeah. So when you finally figure out what it is, you're like, okay, it's starting to make sense. Yeah. It's starting to click.
And I will say, there will be some spoilers in talking about this, but also all of these books, they come with their own set of trigger warnings. And so for this one, it talks about child loss and it talks about grief and talks about depression and anxiety. And so those are some things to be mindful of as you start to read this book if you choose to read it. But I just remember going through this book, I was like, what's going on?
What's happening?
Because I was like, okay, obviously it's a couple. They were together. They're not together anymore. What is the reasoning behind it? And I think, like you said in the beginning, you're like, something's missing. Yeah. Because it's like you see the attitude that Deja has, but you're like, why? Yeah. But then their son is just very opposite. You know, he is just kind of like, okay, like, that's fine. Because I think she told them to put away their, like, phones or their tablets or something. Right. And so, like, Deja was, like, upset about it. What I thought was interesting is that, like, okay, we see them go to school and, like, we see the dynamic between, because Josiah's moved out of the house by this point. Right. He's out of the house, and we see them kind of interacting at their business. Insert Bashidi. The chef. Hindsight's 20/20. She really didn't do anything wrong except for try and love him, but
she was in the way.
She was. She was in the way. She really was. And so we see Yasmin, we see her kind of like try and like accept the boundaries. Right. But I also feel like, I don't know if I've ever said that, I feel like Josiah was trying to play both sides a little bit.
Josiah, we said that. He's too realistic. Like when I'm reading about a boyfriend in the book or a husband in the book, I needed to be that's never going to happen. Josiah, he's too much like the men that you see in the real world. Yeah. Because
it's like, I think that he didn't want the divorce. You know, like that was not something he wanted. It was something that Yasmin wanted in a moment over. She was just like, I can't do this anymore. And so they went through with it. He didn't really fight her too much on it. And towards the end. And so it was like, okay, well, he's trying to move on. She's, you know, they're trying to find a new normal. And so it's like, he clearly still has feelings for his wife, husband, or ex-wife. And you have Bashidi, who he likes, you know, she's cool, a little workplace romance. Right. But you can't have both.
You can't have both.
And I think starting a relationship with your lead chef while your wife is also a partner in the business.
Exactly.
I think that part, I'm just like,
Why?
Why did you think that was going to go over well?
Right.
Nobody wanted Bashidi and her ribs.
Nobody wanted the ribs.
But we see Yasmin also go on this. They both go on this like kind of journey together because their daughter, she doesn't really want to do school. She's like kind of like anti-school.
Right.
So trying to figure out that and like what that's gonna like for her. And she, she gets into social media and that's cool. But their son, he's really struggling. Because, he's also suffered loss, and I'm just going to spill it right now. Josiah and Yasmin, they had a miscarriage, and it was really hard. It was really hard on both of them and on their family, as to be expected. And I think that one thing that you see throughout the book is they were focused so much on Yasmin's grief.
Right.
And how that was impacting her. But then, we kind of start to see how it was impacting the entire family as well. And I think that that's one thing that, it's really hard because it's like you want to support mom and you want to support her and everything that she needs. But then sometimes, like dad and like the kids and like it kind of slips through the cracks a little bit.
Right.
And so one of the big reasons of contention as to why her and Josiah even got divorced is because he would not go to therapy with her.
Him in therapy. It was like oil.
He would not go to therapy until their son was like, he started going to therapy.
Right.
And then he went with him and he started opening up. And, that was, I think, when the relationship really started to heal. Because it was like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad.
Right.
Which is interesting. But with that, out of the family, though, who's your favorite character from the family?
My favorite character? It's kind of funny. I will say the son, even though his name is escaping me right now.
I know.
But
it's because he was unproblematic.
Exactly.
Let me look and see.
But the son will probably be my favorite character.
Yeah.
One, because he was kind of the one who told his dad, like, hey, therapy's not just for women. You also need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And do your part as well. So, I would give it to him.
I'm also going to go with the son.
Yeah.
Because Deja got on my nerves.
Deja...
I know she was also grieving and she was really upset and angry, but she got on my nerves.
She has a redeeming arc, kind of. Kasim.
Kasim.
Kasim. Okay.
Kassim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll give it to him.
Yeah. I think he's my favorite because I think that he was the most level-headed throughout all of this, which is interesting because it's like you see kids' strength and resiliency in this. But back to the real plot of the book, okay? So we meet them, we see how they got together, then we see, okay, now they're not here anymore, they're going through a divorce. When you were like, when we first got introduced to Josiah, were you like, oh no, like were you team Josiah or were you team Yasmin?
See, I was team Yasmin. Whatever. Okay. I gotta find it. But when they started giving like the little glimpse of how it all happened and how she was handling her grief and pretty much, I won't say force him to leave, but was expressing how she wanted to have that time alone and stuff like that. You could see where Josiah was coming from. I'll give him a little bit, just a little bit, but it is still Team Yasmin because all you had to do is go to therapy. Yeah. That's it. You guys could have done it together and worked on it together. So.
I agree with that. I definitely think I was like Team Josiah, which throughout the series you're going to really see me switch and be like, no. But I think that like first book I was like, no, like I can see where both of them are coming from because they were really deep in grief. And one thing that I like about Kennedy Ryan and her writing is that she really does a great job of telling the story, but also telling it in a way that is realistic because it's like grief isn't linear for a lot of people and people grieve differently. It can be, they lost the same person, but they lost them kind of in different ways. Right. And so I think that it was interesting to see that grief displayed throughout the book and to see, how it was impacting them differently. But what I liked, and obviously it would have been great if they could have just went to therapy and, worked it out. But I think that there was something good about them getting a divorce and breaking up because I feel like there was never a question of do they love each other. That I reading this book I was like they still love each other whatever. Right. But I think that sometimes you kind of have to see okay, yes, we went through this really hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did need this time apart to grieve in the way we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a reminder that, like, it doesn't mean that the end that you think it is actually the end of it.
Yeah.
I think it can be at the beginning of a new chapter in their life, and I think that that is what it was. It was like the end of, you know, life as they knew it, but it opened up time and room for them to grow.
Right.
And I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah. I will say I mentioned that they should have just went to therapy. They should have just bit the bullet.
Yeah.
But if Josiah didn't go with his son, I don't think it would have the same impact.
Yeah.
Him seeing his son go first, I think made the difference.
I agree.
So maybe it was good for them to separate for a little bit and come back to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like if Josiah would have went with Yasmin and that would have been the whole thing and how they got together, I feel like he kind of maybe would have resented her for making him go because he wanted... Like, he didn't want to be there, and I don't think he would have been as open to it.
Right.
And so I think that, you know, seeing the vulnerability in his son and being like, I need to step up for him, I think that was really big, and I think it helped their family, too, because I think that was the common ground of, like, we aren't together, but we need to be able to exist together for our kids.
Right.
I don't know. But Yasmin did go out on a date in this book.
She did go out on a date. I forgot about that.
That feels like a fever dream because, like, the whole time she was, like, getting ready to go on the date, I was like, he's a nice man. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, she is not going to like him. Before she even got there, I was like, this isn't going to end well.
But I also think the date was just a get back. Like, oh, you're dating Vashidi. I could go on a date.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just for the attention.
I think it was part of her healing journey.
It was.
It was part of her healing journey.
Right.
Because, you know, she did need to get back out there. And I think that they both kind of saw, like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Mm-hmm. But do you think that Josiah really did like Vashidi?
I think she was a distraction. I hate to say it like that, but I think she was a distraction.
Okay.
I think he had love for her, but I don't think it was on the level that he had for Yasmin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like he had love for her?
I don't know. I feel like yes.
Yeah.
But I also definitely agree with what you're saying because I think that, you know, like sometimes when you go through a breakup and you go through like a traumatic life event, sometimes it's really easy to lean into the person who's just like there. Mm-hmm. And I think that she was there, you know, she probably was always attracted to him. And so she just kind of like leaned into that and took that opportunity, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
you know,
wrong
like
with taking
she saw that, you know, she could take her shot and she
did it.
She did it. She made her shot, you know, and so like that was interesting to see. And so I think that he did care about her, and I think that he liked the comfort that she brought because I think that she probably was like a good sounding board for him of like, because I think that he, from his point of view, felt like he just like was not worthy of like being in a relationship because he couldn't fix it. Right. And I think that was his thing. Like he just wanted to fix what they had lost and like what was kind of broken in their family, but it was like he couldn't fix it. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like by him focusing a lot on the business and just like putting all his energy into that, and Vashidi came with the business. And so I think that that was maybe a little bit healing for him. I don't think, as soon as him and Yasmin started flirting with each other, though, I think he should have cut it off.
Yeah. You were stepping on the line. Mm-hmm. You're playing with her feelings. Yeah. No one deserves that. Yeah. Even Vashidi. She also does not deserve that.
Her ribs don't deserve that.
So, once they had that little trip to Carolina, they should have wrapped it up when they came back. Yeah. At that point.
Also, I feel like he, like, waited until they were, like, at a party, if I remember correctly. Because, like, she, like, stormed out. And so I'm, like, I feel like the timing of when he, like, also said it was not great. But I think that Vashidi knew. Like, she knew that, like, her time was up.
Was coming to end.
She knew.
Yeah.
Getting to when they get divorced and back to Deja. Deja saw their big argument that led to their divorce. And that was why she had so much animosity towards Yasmin, because she was like, this is all your fault. Like, Dad wanted to stay. And he did. And so once you got to that part and you were like, okay, this is why she was so mad.
Yeah.
How did your opinion of Deja in the situation change?
I could get why she was upset. But also, I think it was like in the middle of the night or something. So why was she snooping? Like, she should have been asleep.
That's a very parent thing to say. It's a very parent thing to say.
Like, why was she even up to hear it? But I could understand why she would take that conversation and blame her mom for the conversation. And I will give Josiah points because he stepped in and was like, hey, at the end of the day, that's your mom. Yeah. So I will give him points in that aspect.
And I think that Josiah wanted to say something sooner, but I think that Yasmin was more so like, no, like, let's just give her time. And so, like, that's what was going on. But Josiah was definitely like, enough. Right. I was like, okay, Diva.
He said, wrap it up.
Diva. I was like, I see you. I'm looking at the back of the book. For people who have not read it and you're still like, I wanna read it. I'm not gonna read the whole thing on here. But it says their love was supposed to last forever, but when life delivered a blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love alone couldn't solve or save everything. Reading that and knowing all the things that they went through, do you agree with that statement?
Do I agree that love could solve all?
That it can't.
That it can't solve all. I agree with it to a point because I do think they had a lot of love for each other. Like you said, I don't think that was ever a question. Yeah. It's just other things happened. Also, his aunt. Yeah. Happened, or she passed as well. So all of that going on, it can take a toll. Yeah. So sometimes love can be enough, but it's not the only thing. You should incorporate other stuff. Yeah. So I think it needs a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You think it could solve all?
No.
Okay.
You've met me. You've met me. No. Heavens, no. No. I think them having love for each other also helped them in respecting each other. Yeah. Because I think that was one thing that I didn't really see any disrespect between the two of them towards each other. I think there was definitely a lot of, like, not being able to communicate with each other, but I feel like as far as disrespect, they were pretty, like, amicable, you know? And it was more so of, like, shutting down every time to talk about their feelings, you know? But I think Josiah could have been at things with Vashidi sooner than he did. Right. But I don't think that there was, like, a lot of disrespect between the two, and I think that what ultimately brought them back together was their love for each other. Right. And also, I'm trying to think of the word. I think their, like, decision and discipline to, like, work things out. Yeah. Even when things got hard. And so I feel like you need love, obviously, but you also need discipline to, like, really commit to one another and, like, just really, like, lock in and be like, we're going through this rough season, but, like, we're either going to commit or we're not, and you got to figure it out. Right. And so I feel like love plus their dedication to each other, once they realize, like, look, we're still not finished, I think that is ultimately what saved their marriage, because even in this book, they, like, kissed, and it was like, right, you guys are supposed to be divorced. Right. But then, like, one kiss led to another kiss, and that was how things kind of got going again, and so it was like...
The Carolina trip was something. The business trip was...
They kept going on trips together.
They did go on quite a few trips.
Maybe don't do that if you want to settle the divorce, but...
I know you guys are business partners, but...
Because those kisses, I think that physical intimacy did kind of reopen those old wounds, because they were comfortable with each other. Right. You know, they just weren't comfortable expressing how they felt. And I think it was protecting themselves, but also trying to protect the other ones from from how they were feeling. Yeah. And so it was interesting to see kind of, like... Right. Yeah. And, like, in their way of being like, I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting you, they ended up hurting each other with the divorce, you know? And so it was like, I think if they just would have communicated better.
They both did need to communicate a little bit better. On both ends. Yeah. Both ends.
One of the fun things about Kenny Ryan that I like in her books is that she also has recipes in here. Because obviously they own a restaurant together. But there's also some discussion questions, and so we're just gonna pick one. Okay. In here. Hold on, before we get to this, you brought up a good point. Their aunt dying, definitely. Yes. I think that was really kind of like the catalyst, because it's like this person who they go to for support and for advice is no longer there.
Right.
And so it's like, what do we do now?
Right.
You know, like, who's that sounding board going to be?
Exactly. It was before the miscarriage. She died, then I think the miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So like you said, not having that support.
Yeah.
Having the level-headed person there.
Because this is also picking up, like, in the beginning we see them when they're young and in love, but then we see, like, post-divorce, and it's not right after they get divorced. It's, like, a little bit after. So time has passed, and, like, I think that was why it was fine for Josiah to date.
Time has passed.
It wasn't right after, but they were still in business together. And I think, like, just dating someone...
That's also at the restaurant.
Oh!
I'm like, Atlanta's pretty big. You get found.
Jesus. Okay. Oh, man. I feel like before we get to the questions that we have to talk about her two best friends.
We do have to talk about her best friends.
Because that's part of the questions. Okay. We meet Soledad and we meet Hendrix. They are... That's her core, you know, like girl power. That's her group. They help her get through a lot of this and her, like, sounding boards. And so for you to see that friendship displayed throughout the book of, you know, like, they were with her when she was first grieving. They're with her now. They're helping her work through things and trying to be supportive with what's going on with their kids. What was your first impression of the friend group?
Well, with the friend group, one, the fact that she made that friend group in her adult stage of life.
Yeah.
Because most people can't even make friends during the adult stage.
It's hard.
It is hard. But finding that good group of friends and them being each step of the way, you do fall in love with the friend group more than you do the couple. Yeah. You, like, okay, everybody needs a Soledad. Everybody needs a Hendrix. Yeah. It's questionable if you need a Josiah. But you have a good group of friends behind you, and I think that helped her a lot get back to that path as well, where she was able to talk to them and also go to therapy and figure out who she was again. So,
and you do need a Soledad and you do need a Hendrix, and I think that all of their personalities, like, they mesh together so well, but they're all so different. You know, like, Hendrix, she's the rich auntie. She's the rich auntie. She's going to be there to bail you out. She's going to, you know, that's her role. But Soledad, she's like the caregiver. She's like, she's comforting. She's going to make you the pie, a casserole, you know, like, she's going to just be the comforting one. And then I feel like Yasmin. I feel like Yasmin is like I'm ready for whatever.
Right. She's a little bit of both. You know?
And so I like that we got to see their friendship displayed and just, like, the role that played, because I think that when you go through these, like, deep seasons and these heavy seasons of life, it usually is, like, your girlfriends who are there to, like, help you get through it. Yeah. And all of your friends serve kind of a different purpose, you know? Like, some friends, they're going to give you that harsh reality. Right. And other friends, they're going to be like, well, they're going to be more comforting, you know? But it's like you need all of that to be balanced. And so I like that we did get to see the evolution of their friendship and all the things that happened there. Yeah. If you were Hendrix or Soledad and Yasmin was like, I think I want to get back together with Josiah, and she had told you, you know, kind of what had gone on, what would you have told her? Would you have been supportive of it, or would you have been like, girl, no?
I think I was supported. Okay. Seeing their interaction.
Okay.
No one was blind. I think everybody knew eventually you guys are going to get back together, find yourselves back together. So I was supported. Okay. The whole Vashidi part of it, that I'm like, something...
Side eye.
He needs to cut that off or be more honest. Yeah. But I'll support her.
Okay, you would be supportive of it. I think I'd also be supportive of it because I'm a hopeless romantic. Yeah. And I love it, even though this was very real. And I was like...
Everybody needs a second chance.
You know, I was like, I'm really not like... I was like, I don't want him as my book boyfriend, but he's cool. Yeah. He's cool. Okay. All right, before we get to the next series, we're going to wrap up this with this question. Before I Let Go is romance, but also leans into elements of women's fiction and empowerment. What are some of the elements that highlighted the unique challenges women sometimes face and various choices that women in this story make? Was there one woman's journey you identified with most?
That's a loaded question. Okay. I want to say the woman I identify with most is probably Soledad. If not Soledad, maybe Yasmin, but I think more so Soledad.
Okay, why?
And the reason with Soledad, I think you could see her, she's a lover girl. Like, she gets wrapped up into it. She is all for Edward. We'll get But she is all for him, and she loves her kids.
Yeah.
So she just wants to spread that out. Yeah. But also, by doing that, she's losing herself in it, too. Mm-hmm. So I think I connect with her because I can give a lot of love out. Mm-hmm. But you need to make sure you're not losing yourself in that process of giving all of that out as well. Yeah. So I think that would be my answer to that one.
Okay. I feel like we didn't see too much of Hendrix. Like, she was definitely in the book, but it was definitely, like, alluding to This Could Be Us, which is going to be Soledad's story. I feel like as the, like, typically single friend who, like, has no kids, I feel like I'm definitely more of the Hendrix.
You're the Hendrix of the group.
Without the rich finances, though, that she has. Working on it.
Working on that part.
Working on it. My niece and nephew, I need to get rich by Christmas. But I feel like I'm probably more Yasmin. And the reason I say that is because I think that when I get upset, I am like, either I'm going to talk about it or I'm not going to talk about it, and there's not much in between. Like, I am very much just like, no. Like, I'm not talking about it. And so I get why Yasmin shut down and feeling like, even if you know you have people that you can go to, just feeling like you have to carry it alone. Right. And so I definitely kind of identify with Yasmin in that of just, like, wanting to carry it alone and not wanting to put that burden on other people, but also being, like, so sad and so angry and, like, struggling to find that joy again in life, because I think that is what she was really struggling with, is finding that joy. And so I think I definitely identify with Yasmin, but also in the whole, like, sometimes the heart wants what it wants. It wants what it wants. And she, she wanted Josiah. She wanted him bad. Right. And I can understand that. I can relate to that. Yeah.
You can resonate.
I can resonate with that. Yeah. But on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you rate this book?
Okay. So when we first started, I said this was the first Kenny Ryan book I picked up. Yep. So when I first picked it up, I was like, this is a 10 out of 10. But when I get through the rest of the series, I'm going to give it an 8. Okay. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10? Okay. 8?
Yes.
Okay. How would you rate Josiah on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 7.
Okay.
There's worse guys. Yeah. There's worse characters in this book, in this series.
Yeah. How would you rate Yasmin?
I'll give her a 7 too. I think they both needed to work on themselves.
Okay. So you think there was a lot of character development and growth there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'll rate both of them at that same level.
Okay. I'm going to give Yasmin an 8. I think she had a lot of character development throughout this book, and I think that what she went through was really hard. Yeah. And I like that we got to see her relationships improve with her husband, with her kids, with her friends. Like, I like that we got to see that development. But I think that I enjoy that she found herself again. Right. So I'm going to give her an 8 for that. Josiah, how I feel about him. Here's the thing. I don't dislike Josiah. Yeah. I don't dislike him.
I don't dislike him.
I just don't like that he was playing both sides for a little bit, Like, there was I was like, end it already. But I think overall, though, I'm going to give him an 8, too, because I think that him sharing his story really, like, softened my heart towards him. Yeah. So I'm going to give him an 8. He had a lot of character development. Yeah. I wish that he would have gotten to therapy sooner. Right. But I think that's the thing a lot of times in the Black community, especially with men, is that they're not always like, I'm going to go to therapy. It's like, no, I don't need that. Like, I'm going to tough it out. Right. But it's like, it's okay to let your walls down. Yeah, to, like, let your walls down and to get some extra help. Because sometimes it's like, it's good to talk to your family and your friends, but it's like, it's good to talk to someone who is, like, unbiased. You know? Like, and they're, like, there to help you work through it, and they're a professional. Right. All right, we're going to get into This Could Be Us, the second book in the series, right after we take a quick break.
Okay, you're good.
All right, welcome back to 4 More Pages. We're going to get into the second book of the Skyland series, This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. we got a sneak peek of this story towards the end Before I Let Go. Mm-hmm. You know, like we meet Yasmin's friends, so we meet Soledad, we meet Hendrix, and we get a little sneak peek. I didn't like Soledad's husband, Edward, and Before I Let Go. Yeah. Because I knew he was up to something. Because they were at that picnic. Mm-hmm. They were at that, like, picnic in the park event kind of thing. Right. And, like, she was there, and, like, something happened, and she was, like, kind of upset, and I was like, I don't like him. He's cheating. Mm-hmm. I was like, he's cheating. And so I'm going to, before you get started, I'm going to read the first paragraph of, you know, the description of the book. Soledad Barnes has her whole life planned out. Because, of course, she does. She plans everything. She fixes everything. She never met a party she couldn't host or charge she couldn't lead. But none of her varied talents help when the life she built with the man who was supposed to be her forever goes poof in a cloud of betrayal and disillusion. There's no time to grieve. She's too busy keeping a roof over her daughter's heads and food on the table, and in the process of saving them all, Soledad rediscovers herself from the ashes of a life burned to the ground. Something bold and new can rise, but when Judah Cross, brilliant single dad, an absolute last man she should want, but can't seem to resist, enters the picture. Can't you trust him? Can't you trust herself? After all she's lost and found, is she brave enough to take the risk of what could be? Let's get right into it. Soledad is married to Edward, and Edward sucks. Edward sucks. I'm not even going to, like, be like, oh, no, he sucks. Right. He sucks. From the end of Before I Let Go to the beginning of This Could Be Us, he sucks. I do not like him. Thumbs down. Mm-hmm. Tomatoes. I do not like Edward. If I see him, if I saw him in real life, it's on sight. It's on sight. Because I thought the worst he was going to cheat. Right. He was a criminal.
So many more things. Many more things.
He was literally a criminal.
Right. That's just scratching the surface.
Okay. So Soledad is married to Edward. Yes. Edward is like Soledad is a stay-at-home mom. That's very important to know. She's a stay-at-home mom. Edward, he's in control of most of their finances. She runs the house, but he's the one bringing in the money. Right. He's like, this new guy comes into work, and this new guy just, like, has it out for him, doesn't like him, like, paints him out to be a monster. Mm-hmm. And then Soledad and Edward, they go to a party, and Soledad, she's like, this is going to be good for us, we're going to reconnect, like, fantastic. Wrong.
Right. Not how, not at all.
Because while she's at the party, she bumps into none other than Judah Cross. Mm-hmm. And I loved Judah from the start. I'm so sorry. I loved him from the start.
He's a great book boyfriend.
Wrap him up and put him in a box. Put him on my Christmas tree. Love Judah Cross. Love me some Judah Cross. And he comes in, and they, like, meet, and it's, like, an instant attraction between the two of them. She doesn't even know this is the guy she's supposed to be hating because her husband hates him. So then she, you know, finally is reunited with her husband at this party after he was off with the mistress.
We know how that goes.
Who's just his secretary, which is such a cliche.
It's such a cliche.
So anyways, they go to this party. She knows something's up. She's attracted to this man. Edward is kind of like, you were talking to the enemy? Yeah.
You were...
They get home. Yeah. The police comes knocking on their door one night, and their life is turned upside down. Because on top of being a cheater, pumpkin eater, Edward is also a thief. He's stealing money from the company, and that's why he didn't like Judah Cross, because Judah he was on him. You know, he was like...
No loyalty.
Yeah. Judah knew that the numbers were not making sense, and he said, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And he did. Right. And Edward was the culprit, him and his mistress. So Edward gets arrested. He's, like, telling Soledad, like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like, he's just out to get me, you know, like, blah, 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 blah. Wrong.
Right. Not the case at all.
Wrong. He was, in fact, stealing.
He was,
in fact, stealing. He does go to prison. And her knight in shining armor seems to be Judah Cross, who, you know, she shouldn't like. And Edward also tells the girls, like, not to like him. He tells the daughters not to like him.
Which was very weird.
Judah slipped in, like, the moment this all went up in flames, because he was, like, there to help, because they froze all of their accounts, because it was all tied to Edward, and they were like, it's not making sense. And so, you know, she went from having this, like, nice life to she's got to bring in some money, you know? So Edward helped get them started. Her daughter was like, no, we can't take it, because she was a daddy's girl, and Edward told her to not like Judah.
She has nothing on Deja, though. She's more tolerable
than Deja. Oh, yeah. She was way more likable than Deja.
She was way more likable.
But Deja and Soledad's daughter, her oldest daughter, they're best friends, though.
Of course. They go. Of course, they're best friends.
And so, we see that dynamic of Soledad. She goes on this journey of, I need to figure out what's going to happen. Because I think at first, before she knew that Edward was cheating. Like, she had a feeling.
Yeah.
But then, certain things happened and people came to visit Edward at the jail.
Right.
The attorney kind of got messy in it.
It was a mess.
She had to go to the doctor because he was not taking measures to take care of himself. His wife, and, had a bit of a health scare.
Right. He had a side baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got someone pregnant, too. Not only did he cheat, he also got her pregnant.
It's...
Woohoo! Soledad is a better woman than most people because I think a lot of people would have been in the jail with Edward. Right. Because they would have tried to get him. But have no fear, Judah Cross is here because Edward goes to prison. We don't really care about him. He's sitting exactly where he should be with that baby that he had on the side.
Right.
Roast, tomatoes. Soledad, she finds a way to keep the house. She starts making content online. She becomes a mom influencer, She's getting creative and she's finding her thing, because her big thing is homemaking, It's hosting parties and just DIY stuff. She's super crafty.
Right.
I can never be Soledad because I'm not crafty. I'm more of a buy.
She has a lot of patience.
Yeah.
A lot of patience.
And so she gets involved with her daughter's school and, and she's making it work and she's finding herself. But Judah is also there to help her. And, at first I think that she's hesitant because she's like, you sent my husband to prison.
Right.
But it's your husband's a crook.
Right. He just did his job. We all have a job.
Right.
He just did what he was called in to do.
Your husband's literally a crook.
Right.
And so they start to develop a relationship, and Judah has 2 sons with his ex-wife, and their divorce is really amicable. They work together well. Their 2 sons are autistic. And so we get to see their parenting journey because also, going back to why I love Kennedy Ryan, the way that she writes and tells a story and also different aspects of real life, I think she does it really well. And she said that her son is autistic and, there's 1 month a year where she does, raise money, for autism. And so you see the opposite ends, the spectrum of autism. It is such a wide spectrum. It's not just, one size fits all because with Judah's sons, one son is more nonverbal and is just, kind of shy into himself. And then its other son, he's a bit more talkative and will get out there and talk. And so I really like Judah Cross. What was your first impression of Judah?
See, I did like Judah. I like how patient he was with her.
Yeah.
She set boundaries, and he was never like, oh, I'm going to overstep them, or I'm going to try a little harder to see.
Yeah.
So I did like him. Especially after you see Josiah and Edward. She deserved a Judah. After Edward. Yeah. That's who she deserves.
Yeah.
And I think they work out together because they're both very in touch with their emotions.
Yeah.
They're both like, hey, we're going all in with this relationship. And it was cute to see it.
Yeah.
To see it kind of develop.
I agree. I like that he did respect her boundaries, but that he also, I think sometimes when you get to romance novels, it's kind of they kind of start to neglect their kids when they get into relationships. But I think that his kids were still very much the focal point.
Right.
And I like that he was patient with Soledad, but also patient with his kids and with her kids. Because they try to keep the relationship, under wraps from their kids for a little bit.
Right.
Because, Soledad was like, I want to focus on me. And so, we saw her go on dates with herself, and just find her, sparkle back. And so that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But I like that he supported her in every single moment of it. If she was doing a live, he was on it.
Right.
He was watching. He was liking it. He was engaging, liking, commenting, and subscribing. He was there doing all the things to support her, which I love that. She went out on the date by herself, and he was here for it. I think it was a red or a black dress, and he was giving his opinion on which dress you should wear. I loved that it was kind of a slow burn with these 2.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a good slow burn.
I like the fact she didn't jump straight back into another relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do agree. This is a good slow burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I So we see the relationship become more serious.
Yeah.
They start to integrate their families a little bit. But what's funny, a part in the book that made me laugh was whenever they were, like, out, like, delivering things.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, like, hiding behind a car at one point.
Right.
And I was like, you guys are adults.
Right. Like, you guys are the adults in the situation, not them.
I'm like, okay.
I think they forgot that part.
Yeah.
They're like...
But it was cute because, like, the relationship was such a slow burn. So, like, it was kind of like the little, like, butterflies you get, you know, when you have that, like, first crush, you know, like, after a really bad, like, breakup or something. And so it was really cute to see. But then when they started integrating their families, which I want to say before they did that, you know, I think that Soledad really, to her kids, she never bashed Edward.
Right.
And, you know, like, she let them kind of grieve him in their own way. And I think that once they started to understand, you know, the magnitude of what he did is when they were like, okay, maybe this Edward guy is not so bad. Mom deserves to be happy.
Right.
You know? And so I do like that her kids came around to that. And so we see their, like, first dinner as, like, a family. And, you know, her daughters are also really sweet, too. Judah's daughters, or Judah's sons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, this is so sweet. Get married right now.
Right.
That was my reaction when they had that first dinner, because his one son, you know, he's a little bit more, like, nonverbal. He likes his things. He likes to be a certain way. But, like, one of her daughters really just, like, took a liking to him. And, you know, they were all buddied up. And so
right.
It was nice to see their lives intertwine. But also going back to the friendships in this, you know, Hendrix and Yasmin, they were right there.
They are.
You know, her life went up in flames and they were right there at the house with her, supporting her. And so first reactions to This Could Be Us, what were yours?
My first reaction, honestly, Edward could go to the trash. Edward could leave.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, just getting the slow burn, seeing her find herself again.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed all of it.
Yeah.
Front to back to front.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this, she, like, is very homey.
She is.
And, like, makes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing that you see throughout all three books is the power of, like, friendship, but also the power of food, because I think that food is really healing and comforting.
Yeah.
And so for you, when they were, like, you know, bringing each other things, what were your reaction to, you know, like, just how big of a role that, like, food played in this series?
Well, I think the first food situation was Judah, the groceries. After, like, the cars got frozen and stuff like that. So even that small gesture, he's like, I don't want anything in return. I know that you guys still have a feeling towards me, but I'm going to drop off food.
Yeah.
So a small act like that. Or when they were making the deliveries and stuff. I think that was Thanksgiving or Christmas.
I think so, yeah.
One of the holidays. Right. And just being able to love each other, have love for the family and everything, and have that family gathering. Like you said, food is at the center, but also so is the love they have behind it. You could tell that they're having a good time while also passing out food.
Yeah.
So it does play a big role in this book, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Judah moment in this book?
Favorite Judah moment? Probably seeing his interactions with his ex-wife. I know it sounds weird when I say it. I know it sounds weird, but let me explain. Because it shows how good of a guy he really is.
Yeah.
The fact that they are like, we're better as friends, and we could put both of ourselves into our sons and make sure they have the best life.
Yeah.
So seeing them at the doctors or going to therapy and stuff like that, and just their interactions.
Okay.
That would be my favorite moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I loved when Judah was just, like, watching Soledad from afar.
Yeah.
Because it was like, yes, that sounded kind of creepy. But, like,
it's on the line. It's on the line.
But I like that he respected her boundaries. You know, like, he was there. Like, if she needed anything, he was there in an instant. You know, and, like, it was no questions asked. He was just like, I'm going to be here for her whenever she's ready. And so I liked how attentive he was to Yasmin and to her needs, and kind of, like, anticipating what she was going to need before it even happened. And I think that that's something that's, like, you know, you hear people say, like, to be loved is to be seen. And I think that's really true in this book, because it's like, before she would even say she needed something, he was there. You know, and so I just love me Judah Cross. I do. Getting to the discussion questions that are in this book. Also, this book has recipes as well.
They do.
And it has a playlist with this one as well.
The brownies had Judah Hook. Something in the brownies that Soledad made.
You know, what did they say? A way to a man's heart is through his stomach?
Through his stomach. He had those brownies once.
She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing.
She knew it.
Okay. No, before we get to the questions, Edward's family also kind of sucked a little bit because his mom was
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely had some microaggressions because Edward I forgot what his race is.
Who, Edward?
Yeah. But their kids are like mixed. Their kids are mixed. And so their grandmother, Edward's mom, would like say like slick remarks about some of their daughters. And what did you make of that? You know, just like knowing who Edward is and knowing who his mom is as well.
Right. Honestly, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. It went hand in hand. Yeah. The mom, she was a piece of work.
Yeah.
I think she like called Soledad and pretty much tried to place the blame on her and everything for the whole situation. And I'm like, the audacity for you to even do that.
Yeah.
And like you said, the little mini microaggressions. Like I think she connected better with one of her granddaughters because
she's like fair skinned.
Right.
And
Right. So Soledad's a better woman than me. I would have you can't see any of them if you don't like all of them. But
I think she got there too.
Right.
She's like, you can't see any of them if you aren't kind to all of them, which I think is a fair statement to say.
But the mom was something for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Getting to this question, I'm going to focus on one more so about Judah and Soledad for this one.
Okay.
Once Soledad and Judah pursued the attraction between them, it's a very passionate physical relationship. Did you consider this a slow burn? And how could you characterize their physical and emotional intimacy as the story progresses?
See? Okay. Because when they did meet at that party, it was almost immediate for them.
Yeah.
So, I think it still was a slow burn because they didn't rush into it.
Okay.
But you could tell the connection was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I think it gives you a little bit of both. Okay. Like, she could have went head over heels and just ran to Judah. I'm pretty sure the door would have been open. Yeah. But they allowed that space to grow as people.
Now, even though the door would have been open, do you think that Judah would have rushed things? Or do you think he sort of taken his time?
I think he was still taking his time.
Okay.
I think that's just the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
I don't see him rushing anything, especially with how her daughters were.
Mainly Inez. Inez was the daddy's girl. I had to look down and see that. I was like, she was the daddy's girl.
Yeah.
So she is more sympathetic towards Edwards. But I think she also took it the hardest too when he sailed off into the sunset in his new life. Before we get to the next book, let me just say this. When Edward gets out of prison,
he just dips.
He dips.
He leaves. It was like, see you later.
I could have threw the book across the room. I was so mad. I'm like, this man sucks.
Yeah.
I hope if this book had a bonus epilogue, I hope that it just starts off with Edward was arrested in Turks and Caicos.
Right.
And has been jailed.
Again.
For the next 50 years.
Right.
And his baby mama and kid have to start over. Not the kid. The kid didn't do anything, but the girl.
Right. The girl could start over.
She knows. All right, scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate this book?
Okay. I said I had to get the first one an 8.
Yeah.
I'm giving the first one an 8 because I think this one's my 10.
Okay.
I think this is the 10 out of the series.
This is your 10.
Yeah.
Character development for Judah, 1 to 10.
I don't think he had much to develop on.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of already. He was already there.
He's perfect.
But I'll give him a 9. I think he wasn't as open. Like sometimes he will kind of shut down a little bit. But I think he was mostly already there.
Okay. What about Soledad?
Soledad, I give it an 8. I think that she acknowledged she needed to date herself for a little bit and find herself again. Yeah. And that takes a big step. Yeah. Some people, they could see a guy, they want to hop right to the next relationship because it's comfortable. So I'll give her 8 for that.
Okay. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this book an 8. I like the character development of all the characters in this book. Judah, I think he's perfect. 10 no notes. Because, again, I like how attentive he was to his family, to Soledad, and to her family. I just think that he is a really good guy. I loved Judah Cross. Soledad, I also give her a 10.
Yeah.
Because I think that she went through a lot. And I think that she really found herself. And I think that a lot of times, you know, like, even, like, in real life, you see your friends, like, they get married and they have kids and that becomes who they are. And that's fine, you know? But it's like when you take that away or parts of that away, who are you?
Right.
And I think that she really had to dig deep to figure out who she was and to know that she could, you know, do life on her own and be, you know, like the one to go to. And so I think it's a 10. I'm giving this book, I said an 8, but I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 9.
Giving it a 9.
We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to wrap things up with the third and final book in the series.
You're good.
Okay. All right, welcome back to 4 More Pages. We're going to wrap things up with the Skyland series with Can't Get Enough. This is Hendrix' story.
It's all about Hendrix.
Hendrix, the whole friend group is fabulous. Fabulous group of women, all doing things in their fields. Love them. Hendrix is the, like, rich auntie friend that you have in the friend group who has no kids, doesn't really have a desire to have kids.
Right.
But, you know, she just wants to see the world, you know, like, when they needed help financially, she was there to help them.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Hendrix is there.
She got it like that.
Right.
Literally. But when you meet Hendrix Berry, she lives a fabulous life. She has a phenomenal friend group, a loving family, and a thriving business that places her in the entertainment industry's rarefield air. Your vision board, she's probably living it. She's a woman with goals, dreams, ambitions, always striving upward, and in the midst of everything, she's facing her toughest challenge yet, caring for an aging parent who has time for romance. From her experience, there's low ROI on relationships. She hasn't met the man who can keep up with her anyway, until him. Tech mogul Maverick Bell is a dilemma wrapped in an exquisitely tailored suit and knee-melting charm. From their first charge glance at the summer's hottest party, Hendrix feels like she's met her match, only he can't be. Mav may be the first to make her feel this seen and desired and appreciated, but he's the last one she can have. Forbidden fruit is the juiciest, and the man is off limits if she plans to stay the course she set for herself. But when Maverick gives chase, pursuing her, spoiling her, understanding her, is it time to let herself have something more? All right, first reaction of this book.
So, first reaction. Hendrix, like you said, she loves her life. She lives her life to the fullest.
Yeah.
She's going to make sure she is seen at the parties. Everybody know who she is.
Yeah.
You know, you strive to be on Hendrix level. But also, you get her mom and seeing what she's dealing with and stuff like that. And then you can kind of understand why Hendrix plays it up.
Yeah.
Because she does have that going on. And trying to do it alone.
Yeah.
Because I feel like her and Yasmin, they both have the similar thing. They feel like they have to do it alone.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I was like, this is going to be a good one. I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. But yeah.
I love that she's the rich auntie.
Yeah.
I do. And like we said at the beginning, this book does have triggers. So does This Could Be Us too. That one focuses more on, you know, financial and mental abuse and kind of things that happen there, and infidelity and also crime. But also loss because, you know, Soledad did lose her mom too. And so they touch on that as well. But in this book, it's about, you know, having an aging parent and, you know, what that looks like, especially because Hendrix is the only child. She's already lost her dad, and so it falls on her.
Yeah.
And so, first reaction, she walked into the party. She's there with her client. I'm like, yes, I love it, queen. I love it. She runs into Maverick, and it's like sparks, you know?
Right.
Little does she know that Mark is the boyfriend of the host of the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were actually broken up. Maverick and his girlfriend, they had broken up. His ex-girlfriend is a model. You know, they're throwing their annual party. It's the last party they're going to have with their house because they're going to announce that they're actually broken up.
Right.
So she meets Maverick. And Maverick and Hendrix, they're hitting it off.
Right.
But then she realizes that
can't have him.
Yeah, like whose ex-boyfriend he is, and also how much that ties to her business, because she's trying to get one of her clients a new deal with the show, and the model, she has the ability to really make the show happen or make it not happen.
Right.
And so Hendrix, she like fights it off, she's like, no, like I'm not gonna do it. But Maverick is like, I want you.
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, remember when we said that Judah was like the slow burn, respect your boundaries?
Maverick's the opposite.
Yeah, I think the opposite. He's like, I'm at your front door.
Right.
Which is great.
Only works for certain people. Again, there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line. He got real close to that line.
He did.
For me.
If Hendrix wasn't feeling him.
Yeah.
He would have crossed the line.
Yeah, for sure. But through this at the party, you see that Hendrix is also struggling because she's going to have to go take care of her mom for a little bit.
Right.
Her aunt comes down to help with her mom, but then her aunt has surgery. So she is splitting her time between her mom and her home, and also trying to, set boundaries with Maverick, because she has a business that she's trying to get up and running as well. And Maverick has the ability to invest in it. And so for part of her business, she's trying to get this up and running with like more grants and more opportunities for like Black women who are doing businesses. But then she's trying to make sure that her clients are taken care of with the show. And so she's like, I just can't cross. Right. And Maverick's assistant is like, no, like he can't meet with you. And then he finds out that it's Hendrix, and he's like, I can meet with you.
Right. We could do it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In person.
Right.
Which is nuts. Which that lets you know sometimes people aren't that busy. You just got to knock a little bit harder.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, to let them in.
Right.
But we see their interaction, and when he came in, and like, did you feel like he had ulterior motives wanting to invest in her business, or did you think that he really wanted to invest in it?
Okay. I think he did want to invest. But also, he was like, this is a way in.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to take the opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a businessman, so maybe he did find something in her business. He was like, I can invest in this.
Okay.
It's mostly opportunity.
I think that he really did want to invest in her business, because I think it was a good brand. Like, I think it was a really good brand. And so I think that he did want to invest into it. And he was like, I can help her business-wise, but I can also help her in her personal life because I like her.
Right.
And, we're going to make this happen. And I think that even though, like, he definitely liked her and, like, wanted to invest in her business, they did kind of do a good job at keeping them a little bit separate,
Right.
Like, they intertwined, of course, but they did keep them separate.
Right.
But we see their relationship develop. Maverick has a kid, too.
He does.
Well, she's an adult, basically.
Right.
He had her when he was young and was, like, playing sports. And that's another thing. Him and his dad, they want to own a sports team. So they were trying to close that deal. And that was why him and his ex broke up, because he didn't want any more kids. She did. And that's why him and Hendrix were such a good match.
Because she doesn't want any
kids.
She's like, don't care.
She's like, no, thank you. I love my nieces and nephews, but
no,
I don't need any kids for myself. And so whenever you saw, her kind of, soften up to him, which I think a big reason why she softened up is because he knew what it was like to have an aging parent and a family member who had Alzheimer's or dementia. And so when you saw her, like, kind of letting her guards down with him, what was your reaction to that?
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I get the relationship.
Okay.
I can see it working. Because you don't see Hendrix put her walls down.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Even with Soledad and Yasmin.
Yeah.
You see a hint of it, but you have to force it out of her.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was easy with him, I was like, okay, I could ship this relationship. I could understand it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. I agree. I was rooting for them.
Yeah.
He was so persistent that it was making me uncomfortable for a little bit.
He was very persistent.
I was like, back off. But I do like them, and I like their dynamic a lot. Whenever we meet the ex, I can't think of her name. I just know she made me so mad, and so I had to put
model.
Yeah. I had to put her out of my head because she just made me so angry. Because whenever she starts to get suspicious about Maverick and Hendrix, and she's like, oh no, like,
he doesn't want you.
Right. Yeah. Like, he would never go for someone like you, because Hendrix is plus size and the model, she's like skinny. What was your reaction when she said that?
I was like, the audacity for you to say. Also, I think Kimmy Ryan, she does a good job. She talks about it in all the books about colorism too.
Yes.
Especially in the Black community.
Yeah.
And the model even said it then. She was, because Hendrix, I believe she's a dark-skinned woman.
Yeah.
Or darker than the other ones in the series.
Group,
Right. So, the fact that she would even say something like that, like, oh, he doesn't go for you. Because I think they described the model as, like, biracial, long hair, this and that, light eyes.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot of audacity for her to say that.
I said that, and I was like, girl, you're so rude.
Right. And I was like, little do you know.
Literally.
Little do you know.
I think that was also, like, part of it is, like, she was just, like, so arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was why everything was for show with her.
Yeah.
And I think that's why her and Maverick also did not work, is because everything was for show.
Everything was for show.
And it's just like, girl.
Reel it in.
Chill out. Like, oh my gosh. But whenever we get to it and she finds out about the relationship and they're like, don't try and hide it anymore, do you think it was fair of the model to be like, I don't want to work with you, but I want to move forward with this deal still?
See, I want to say no.
Okay.
Because you're putting your personal feelings into your business.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest no.
Yeah.
But also, if I was in her shoes,
yeah,
I could have a little sympathy for it. But you have to push it to the side and just get the deal done.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like it could go both ways.
I feel like no.
Yeah.
I feel like she was in the wrong. And the reason I feel like she was in the wrong is just because, like...
She was also, like you said, arrogant.
She was arrogant. And also, if we're being really honest with you, just if we're being honest, there's going to be some spoilers what I'm about to say. They really didn't do anything wrong because when they met, they were broken up. Yes, it was their party, but they were broken up. And... once she found out, she was like, no, I'm not going to do this, you know? She was like, I'm not going to pursue this. Like, I think that she really did want to respect those boundaries, and I think that that is good. But they were broken up, and they had been broken up for months.
Right.
That was the thing. Like, even though it wasn't public, they had been broken up for months before this even happened. And so it was just like, girl.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
Then, I feel like she was mad at the wrong person. Mm-hmm. Like, she was mad at Hendrix, but I don't think that Hendrix really owed her anything, honestly.
She didn't.
They weren't friends. I'm sorry.
They're not.
I'm sorry.
Now, if it was Hendrix's client,
that's
something different.
Right.
But like you said, her and Hendrix are not friends.
They weren't friends. And then she called Hendrix fat, basically. I was like, girl, like, she don't owe you anything. And also, like, her just, like, still trying to pursue Maverick, too. I was like, he doesn't want you.
Right.
Go away.
Right.
Do you think that Maverick did a good job of, like, having those boundaries in place, though, with her?
See, I think he set them up front. Like, I think it's always been established he didn't want more kids.
Yeah.
The model thought she could change it.
Yeah.
So, if you're setting the boundaries and they have a different idea, there's only so much you could do with that. So, I can't really blame him for that part.
Yeah.
Because I think it was very clear.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's hard to be like, oh, he should have said it. She's just a little delusional.
Yeah.
She's weird.
Okay. Also, we see two people who are like, they're committed to their business. And they're committed to their business. We see them take a trip because Maverick wants to start a new business. We see them go to California because he's trying to do that business out there.
Yeah.
What did you think of their families kind of intertwining? Because we see Hendrix meet Maverick's dad.
Right.
And Maverick also shows up at Hendrix's mom's house whenever her mom has one of her really bad kind of Alzheimer's moments and is in the hospital and has to deal with that. And so seeing that they're intertwining of their families and how their families react to each other, what was your thought for that?
So I think with both of them, because even Maverick, the reason him and the model, like you said, got into it is because she wanted to do everything for show.
Yeah.
He was a very secretive person. Like, I think they mentioned at the party, not many people even know what he looks like. So the fact that he brought her into that world, I feel like his family is something only so many people see.
Yeah.
So, and the same with Hendrix, that she let him see her mom and see her taking care of her mom and that vulnerability.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is for the long run because you guys are both opening that door for each other.
Yeah.
So you guys got to stick it out at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locked in there. And I think that family also liked each other too.
Right.
And, you know, eventually at the end of the book, you know, they move in together. Hendrix's mom moves down to be with her so that she can watch over her a little bit better. But also, before we get to, like, the happy ending of the book,
The plot twist.
The little man, and I do call him a little man because he has little man syndrome, he tries to shut her business down and say that it's being discriminatory because you have to be like you have to meet certain requirements to be able to apply to the program.
Right.
And he's tied to Maverick, and so it gets messy because then it's like, what is Maverick going to do? But then he walks away from the deal. My heart was racing so fast. And those last 2 chapters, what was your reaction to it?
It was so much going on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're just taking me for a roller coaster towards the end.
Yeah.
I can't just get the happy ending, they run off to the sunset. Something has to happen.
But also, I was kind of surprised that Hendrix really just shut Maverick out the way she did.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised that she didn't trust him more. I think he was surprised by that. But also,
so
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I was also like, Hendrix.
Right.
Come on.
You made all that progress.
Yeah.
And you're taking like 10 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I get it.
Yeah.
When you're used to being the one to figure out the problems yourself. Yeah. But also, I'm like, girl, just let the man help you.
Yeah.
He wants to help you.
And he did come through. He saved the day. He got his business. She got her business. Right. Everybody got what they wanted. And the model moved on with some other man.
Finally moved on. Stop being delusional.
God. Thank God. What would you rate this book on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think I'm going to also give it an 8.
Okay.
I feel like her story and Yasmin's, they flop between where I placed them. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to also give that one an 8 as well.
Okay. Character development for Hendrix?
I give it a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she really did break down a lot of walls in this book.
Mm-hmm. Character development for Maverick?
I think I also give it a 10.
Okay.
Again, you see a lot of the walls get breaking down with both of them, on both ends.
One thing that before we wrap things up, that I want to talk about, Maverick and Hendrix, they both had loss with their parents. They both have one parent left. So for you to see Hendrix kind of slide into this caregiver role when it comes to her mom and kind of see the pressure that she felt with her mom because she's the only child.
Right.
What was your, kind of thought process as you were reading, all the things that she is going through? Maybe she hasn't shared yet with her friends or was, opening up to share with them, but, had carried for so long because she knew that her mom was aging and that her mom did have Alzheimer's and, they were trying to figure out, how fast it's going to progress, and working on those triggers because anything could trigger her mom, you know? And so what was, going through that, reading it, what was, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I do think that Hendrix put on the mask when she was at the party and playing it up and stuff like that. But when you see, like you said, all the stuff she's going through with her mom and like the pressure is only her and her mom, which I think also plays in a role why she doesn't want to have kids. So seeing everything that is going on, you're like, Hendrix, you should have opened up a little sooner. You don't need to take on that big of a load. Yeah. But she could understand why. Yeah. Especially when she feels like she's the one who has to take care of her mom. She's the one, it's all up her responsibility. Yeah. So I get it. But also that's a lot for anybody to carry. Yeah. So, and also you have a good group of friends. You have Soledad and Yasmin. You heard all their problems. I'm pretty sure they can hear your problems too. So, but yeah, it was very interesting and get a deeper dive into her story for sure.
I agree. I think that anytime you have, like, a story of, like, an aging parent and just seeing how that impacts people, because it's, like, it's something that I think that you hope that it's just, like, really far away and that, like, you don't have to deal with it for a while, that your parents are going to be, like, healthy, but then you have, like, your parents are going to get older, you're going to get older, and so it's, like, you have to figure out that new normal, whereas, like, they went from taking care of you to now maybe you're their caretaker. And so I think that it was a unique learning experience too because we got to learn more about Alzheimer's and dementia and kind of the things that people can do to like help their family members who maybe are going through Alzheimer's and dementia because it impacts not just the person going through it but the whole family as well. And so it's like in those moments where her mom couldn't remember, like that her husband had died, it was like, well, does she tell her and maybe irritate her more or does she just kind of go along with it? Right. And so I like that we got to see kind of like tips for people who, that may happen to them. And that was something that Maverick even helped her with as well because he was like, it's painful for me sometimes to kind of have to live through that. But then it's like, it's maybe what helps them. You know, like, it helps them in that moment to kind of settle down. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And so I'm going to give this book a 9.
Okay.
I'm going to give Hendrix a 9, and I'm going to give Maverick an 8 because he was pushing the boundaries of kind of being a little weirdo.
He was pushing it.
So, yeah.
But, you know, he just loves Heart.
He does. He loves her for the right person, though. Yeah. Because you even see, like, with his child's mom, you know, like, he was never like that with her. I mean, we got a sneak peek of that, you know. It was like he was young, he was in college, you know, she was the older adult, and so, like...
Who's Leia?
Yeah. You know, like, he was an active father, and you see that in her relationship with his daughter that plays out, you know, and his daughter's really supportive of it. But I'm like, Hendrix was different for him, you know?
It was something.
Yeah, she was the one.
Yeah.
This series, as an author, when you think about this series that Kenny Ryan has wrote, what are some of your 4 takeaways from the series as a whole?
First, have a good group of friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the core of the entire series. Remember yourself in all of them. I think in all 3 books, they had to remind themselves of who they are outside of what they were dealing with.
Yeah.
Patience. All 3 of them have patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Soledad, especially Yasmin with Deja, she had the most patience. But and then 4. Don't be scared to love.
Yep.
That would be number 4.
Okay.
So I think that's would be my 4 takeaways.
Okay. I think mine would be definitely have a good group of friends, because I think that your friends are going to get you through those tough moments in life. So let them in, like, let your friends in.
Yeah.
2, I would say be okay with being vulnerable. It's scary and it's hard. But I think that when you find that core group of people, whether it's your friends or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, like, whoever it is, your partner, I think that it can really allow you to kind of have someone else to carry the weight with.
Yeah.
The 3rd one is that I think everyone grieves differently. You can lose the same person. You can be going through something that's the same thing, but everyone grieves differently. And so you have to meet each other where they're at. And we see that with, Josiah and with Yasmin. They grieve differently. They both lost, but they grieve very differently. And their kids grieve differently. But also in Soledad and how her kids grieved, And also in Hendrix, because, she's grieving her mom as she knew her. And so I think that, realizing that people grieve differently. Her mom was grieving the life that she knew because she knows that she's getting sick and she's getting older.
Right.
And so, like, just everyone grieves differently. So, like, have some grace for the people in your life when you are going through those tough seasons of life would be the 3rd thing. And the 4th thing, I would say it's that everyone's journey for love romantically is going to look different, and that's okay.
That's a good one.
So, like, don't be afraid to be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm 40, I'm never going to find love. Like, Hendrix, she's an adult.
40.
Yeah, she's 40.
Right.
Like, Yasmin, like, she met Josiah, they were young, but then they had some ups and downs. Like, Soledad, she had to start over completely. And so I think that it's just, like, everyone's journey for love looks different. So don't compare yours to someone else's, because it's going to look completely different, and that's okay.
Right.
It's normal. So just embrace it.
Right.
I think those are my key takeaways.
Those are some good ones.
Also, I will say this. If you are like, I want to pick up a Kenny Ryan book, I would say this series, you don't have to read them in order, but I would say read them in order. Also, I think that if you're, maybe you're grieving a child. You are grieving your marriage. You're grieving a parent. This is a good series to do it, because I think that she writes it so tastefully.
Right. You can tell she did her research.
Yes. And she talks about how she does her research before each book as well. And so I think that it's a really good book, because not only in the grief aspect, but also when she talks about autism, and she talks about child loss, she talks about dementia and Alzheimer's. And so she also, like, has those other ways of, it's like, yes, you're going on this journey with the characters, but you're also learning.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's things that you wouldn't even think about that you're learning as well. And I just love me some Kenny Ryan. Give me 14 of them.
Right now.
Literally right now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say?
I don't think I have anything else to say. I'll say, like you said, if you're going to start Kenny Ryan, start with this series.
Yes.
Pick this one up.
Read this series. Now, I've read pretty much every Kenny Ryan series except
You
for
have.
The Kingmaker. I haven't finished that one yet. I need to finish it. This is a good one to start with.
Yes.
This is a good one to start with. This one has some spice to it.
It does.
Not as spicy as the Hoop series, but this one has some spice.
I think the spiciest is probably Hendrick's book.
Oh, for sure.
I think the other ones, there's a little mild spice. It's for adults.
Yeah.
But Hendrick's is the one that's off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, I think even in, looking this up, it's it says adults,
Yeah.
So, this isn't for your teenagers.
Right.
It's for adults. So I would just say go out and read them because you're going to enjoy it.
Right.
You're going to enjoy it. In every season of life,
Right. And there's a show coming out on it, too.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Right.
I'm going to be sad. Literally.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining and watching this episode of 4 More Pages. We'll see you soon.